Troian Bellisario and Brandon Larracuente star in On Call, now streaming on Prime Video. The show was just released. They're already talking season number 2. I mean, I just love the excitement around the series. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Of course, man.
Thank
Thanks for having
you.
us.
Yeah, I mean, this is just so incredible. I mean, but I want to talk a little bit about the ride-alongs and the research that you did in Long Beach, preparing obviously through different lenses, of your characters.
Yeah, do you want to start?
Sure. We were incredibly fortunate to be welcomed by the Long Beach Police Department, and they were extremely welcoming to have us along for ride-alongs. I mean, it was super informative for us as actors, but also as humans to see what these people go through and the amount of like empathy and care that they actually have for their community. I think that was one of the most insightful things for me. What about you, Troy?
No, I think you said it perfectly. It was such an incredible opportunity to be welcomed in and trusted, like,
Yep.
like when we speak to a lot of officers, there's not that there's a reticence, but they're asking, how are you going to bring us to life? How are you going to portray us? And I think that was a really wonderful kind of expectation to be set forward, the please like show us, bring forward our humanity. And so it was a really wonderful thing to have at the forefront of our minds as we were going into shooting the show.
Right.
And we love, this aspect of the show of the veteran and the rookie. But obviously, it's not just in the police department. I mean, it's in acting, it's in journalism, it's every career. Someone's starting out, they have wonderful ambitions, and someone's been there for a long time and kind of, not jaded, but they kind of know the way the job works. I mean, talk a little bit about maybe your perspective going into each one of these roles. Brandon, if you want to go ahead and start.
Sure, yeah. I think the beauty between the relationship between Harmon and Diaz is that she's the yin to her yang and vice versa. It's like, what Diaz not necessarily lacks, but like, he's a little more hard in his sleeve, and it's because he's a little naive. He hasn't been on the force for, the time that Tracy has. So they balance each other out. They do a really good job at that. She leans on him for some emotional support, especially when it comes to her family. So to witness their relationship on screen and, the fact that they both have to work together for a common goal, I think that that's one of the most interesting things about this show.
Absolutely. And I think, enough isn't said that there's wonderful, you brought up this really great point about how important apprenticeship is. And that it's really, this is one of the last jobs where this is sort of enshrined. You have to be trained by a veteran officer, as a as a police officer. And so I think it's really incredible, but not enough is said about what a veteran officer gets from working with somebody who's new to the force, and particularly what Harmon gets from working with Diaz. Not only does she get this sort of like reminder of what she's passionate about and a reminder of the way that you can behave in certain circumstances, because I think after 12 years on the force, you're a little bit concretized, and this is the way that I've walked through the world, and this is the way that I've had to walk through. This is my armor. And so to get a fresh set of eyes, to get a new perspective, it can really change you, and I think it does for her.
I want to talk a little bit about the popularity of the show, because obviously you both are, successful in your own right, but obviously there's a lot of fans from 13 Reasons Why or, Pretty Little Liars that follow the journey that you're on. So you're on a new show, people want to follow it, but people also love, these types of shows as well too. I mean, talk a little bit about, maybe the messages you've received, people that you've met, in everyday life or, during the promo tour, of just how excited they are about the show and, kind of coming to the series.
I mean, I think I kind of speak for both of us when I say that the amount of support and love for the show so far in the first couple of weeks of it being out has been nothing but positive. I mean, it's not just from family and friends, but people, even in law enforcement, who have reached out to us via social media. And I see the comments and the fact that they're saying, like, you guys did a really good job at like just portraying the humanity, that we as law enforcement officers, have or are capable of. And I think that's a testament to Elliot and Tim and the rest of the writers who did an incredible job at writing the show. What about you, Troy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's been amazing. I'm very excited to be in contact with more people. It's been a strange time here in Los Angeles as well. And so we're now sort of coming into finding what the new normal is. But I've had some really wonderful experiences. Actually, my first experience getting recognized for On Call was my termite inspector. Did I tell you about this? So generally I get recognized for Pretty Little Liars. And so he was going around my house trying to find out if we have termites or not. And he was like, I know you from somewhere. And I was like, oh, it's Pretty Little Liars. And he goes, no, on call. And I was
No
like,
kidding.
that's cool. I was like, that's really cool.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much. Quick thing right before we go, the get out of jail free card that we get to see at the beginning. Talk a little bit about the perspective, that we're kind of seeing both of these characters come into that, especially for someone who hasn't binged yet, but just kind of where we see that kind of play in the very first episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Harmon first presents the get out of jail free card to him, there's almost a bit of pride behind, Diaz. Like he's like, I'm never going to use this. All the other people have, but I'm going to prove her wrong. And of course, very quickly he has to use it.
Mm.
But what's beauty about the beautiful thing about this is that Harmon doesn't like she doesn't say I told you so. She just understands that there are mistakes that you're gonna make. One as a rookie, but two just as a human being,
Yeah.
and she never holds it against him. She just at the very end of the show when she takes it back, it's almost like this unspoken just thing, this unspoken understanding, and I love the way that was written. And yeah, that was my take from it. But
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's the expectation that you're human. It's us setting up in the show that we want to show the humanity, and I think that that's what she's saying with that get out of jail free card. It's like you said, you're human, you're going to make mistakes. That's actually a part of this job.
Mm.
And if you can learn from them, then you can, grow. And that's our job, to just be better and better.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. Go ahead and stream the show. Go ahead and stream the whole entire series. Go ahead and do it. Definitely go ahead and watch it. The show is incredible. Troy and Brandon, thank you so much for your time today.
thanks,
Thank
Rudy.
you.